in, keeps up the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joined every Thursday, as always. Below me, we have Digger Jim. How you doing, Jim?
I am doing good, sir. Doing good. Be here
Doing
and
dandy?
see Matt Wood's collection.
Matt Woods, I got my eye on you. All right, and also as a co-host, we have Chuck Hensey. How you doing tonight, Chuck?
Doing great.
So,
Can't wait
Chuck,
to see
can you
what
tell
Matt
me why everybody wants to put an L in your last name?
I have no earthly idea.
I do that.
Everybody
Do they
call you
sound
Chuck
like
Hensley.
Hensley or something?
And I look, I'm like, there's no L. It's just Hensey.
Hensey.
I don't know. Can't blame my handwriting this time. So
I want to say Hennessy.
I didn't know if there was
That's
a story to it or not. Like, why does everybody say Hensley?
no.
Okay, you're nice because you don't correct anyone. You just let them run with it.
You're a good man.
And of course, our guest of honor this evening, the guy who says Hensley, the Matt Woods.
Hey, at least when I do say Hensley, I like catch myself. I'm like Hensey. So if you know your name, I just don't say it correctly.
He just doesn't respect it.
Hey.
I don't pull out all the G's, okay? So you know.
All right, so Matt, as we like to do on this, we're going to say hi to the chat in a minute, but first, give the quick information, who you are, what does Matt Woods do, and I think you wanted to show off what you had last time, and then we'll proceed forward after that.
All right. As you know, my name is Matt Woods, okay? My name has kind of turned into a drinking game. Some people have told me. I don't know about all that, but very happy to be here. I used to have a YouTube channel. I guess it's still up. So I just haven't put any new content out there. Maybe one of these days I'll start it back up. But I love being here. And honestly, the people that are in this panel, honestly, some of the best people in the world, okay? You got my buddy Jim down here. And Jim, you don't know this, but I have a metal detector. And I love going around looking for stuff. I want to start taking it into the river near me. I have a small river. Well, it's Susquehanna River, but where I live, it's small. It's a pretty big river, at the headwaters, or not headwaters, but the mouth. But so I always love your content, Jim. And Chuck, my fellow teacher, okay? Partner in crime. I hope you're not doing crimes down there, Jim. Or Chuck. But
Wow. First it's Hensley, now it's
I know, Hensley. Jim Hensley. And then I have this guy up here to my top left. Yeah, I'm gonna rage on sub you as soon as the show is done. Okay.
That's all right, as long as you rage sub me back.
Well, I don't know about that. It'll be a guilt sub back. Okay.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah. So anyhow, I was on this show once before, and honestly, I don't even know how long ago it was. It was probably 2 years, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you were the second guest.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
No, you were our second guest.
Wow, that is such an honor. I'm not gonna lie.
It was Metarog and then you.
Of all the people you could have reached out to, you reached out to this guy? Oh, you're dumber than I thought you were. Okay.
He was desperate that day.
Desperate. But anyhow, I want to show off but I want to go through the books that I did the first time that I was honored and being on the 1011. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Just show what they were. A Ernie Chan cover, Conan 163. Awesome book. Did a Batman Adventures number 12. Bought that book from Reggie Collects. This book, Spawn, number 1, black and white. I actually bought this book raw. It went off 9.4. I sent it back to be pressed and regraded. Came back 9.8. I just sent it to the Todd McFarlane signing, and it did come back in 9.8. I was kind of worried about that, I'm not going to lie. The Gibbon Gang ticket, ASM 110. And Ode to 9/11, the ASM 36. And I had to rewatch that show, Gary, because I forgot what books that I.
I'm sorry you had to look at yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm an ugly man, and sometimes you just got to put up with yourself. All right, Hulk 181. Now, this is a book that I absolutely need to send back to CGC to have it pressed, but this is Blue Marvel, number 1.
Yep.
Love that miniseries. First appearance of Gunslinger Spawn, number 174. And I'm going to show this book off again, okay? But here is Conan, number 24, Gary's favorite cover of all time. His favorite Red Sonja
Outfit.
Drawing. Now, I had shown this book before, but this book was a Blue Label 9.4. So it's now a signed by Roy Thomas 9.6. And then ASM 1. Very low grade, but I love the story that went with it. Now, Gary, I can't show the one book that I had shown. It was the Savage Tales #1. The reason I can't show it is because somebody stole it from me, and it's at their house. Gary, you know the house that's in?
Yeah, some dick's house.
Gary is going on the hunt.
I might have it right next to me.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yes,
Of course he does.
that is a sweet book.
It is.
And I spec'd on this book, okay, which was ridiculous at the time because I think it was at its peak. It's kind of come down and it's about worth half.
Yeah,
of what
you took the easy way out, Matt. Everyone knows it.
You know, the truth is, I still think that book has room to grow, like much further than what it did even a few years ago. So I'm still bullish on it, although I would not have bought it at its peak. I even then I felt it was a little too high. But those were the books that I had displayed earlier.
Well, as you put those to the side, we'll say hi to the chat and we'll let you get ready for your next 10-1-1. So first in, as always, we have Las Cruces. James, nice to see you. We have Paul. How you doing, Paul? Nice to see you, sir. And Jared the Jitterbug, one of my favorite people.
Jared the Jitterbug. Yes.
Kevin. How you doing, Kevin? Just talked to him earlier. Great dude. Steve White. How you doing tonight, Steve? Who's now making semi-regular appearances on the channel as well now, Steve White. And co-hosting. We have Anachronic Comics in. How you doing, Joe? And the Jackson Roy Kirk. You got your sign, Matt Woods?
Taking a drink every time.
I don't have it.
Uh-oh, you're failing.
Uh-oh.
Mark Andrews, all the way from Canada. How you doing, Mark? And we have, I think, we got a lot of conversation happening. Well, Brad's in here. How you doing, Brad? Nice to see you. And
Brad keeps my house warm.
the OG Blue Wrench, Tina Carenson. How you doing, Tina?
Tina.
Nice to see you. And I think we are almost caught up. I think. Wow, there was a lot of chat going on. We were.
You're here, Dr. Von Hoot.
Well, Milt's here. How you doing, Milt?
There's a lot of people in this chat.
Oh yeah, DVH. How you doing tonight? I'm trying to find you to highlight you, sir. John's Comics with Kids. How you doing, John?
John, he's a fellow teacher. Good
Oh
man.
yeah, he starts back soon. Tate
Jim
Prime.
Hensley
How you
is
doing,
a
Tate?
teacher also.
Seth 11. Good to see you tonight, sir. Kenneth Bird. How you doing? And
Sleepy Reader.
I'm trying to. Oh, there's DVH. How you doing, Dr. Von Hoos? Nice to see you, buddy. Damien, Ben Compton. How you doing? Damien, nice to see you. And had some great conversations with Damien in the last week. Super great dude, super smart dude.
Yep.
All right, and Matt brings out all the best in people. Well, not once you meet him live.
Yeah,
He's a
no,
bully.
definitely not.
No. No. So Matt, all right, bud. Now everyone likes to accuse you of only having Conan, and I think you showed just with your first 10 books from your first show that that's not the case with Matt Woods. That you are more than a one-trick pony. We saw Spawn, Batman, a whole Amazing Spider-Man, and you're also a big Spider-Man guy. But curious to see what you brought this time around, buddy. So go ahead and start it off.
Nothing but Spawn and Conan. Nothing.
There you go.
We don't need anything else, okay?
Right?
You know what?
The Spawn one.
Who that?
Who that?
The first book that I'm going to show, I used to not really care for sending books off to CGC for the private signings. I skipped the first couple, but then there was there was a gentleman down there, and honest to Pete, I met him last week. I got to hang out with Milt Miller, who's in the chat at Steel City Con in Pittsburgh, and I got to talk to Jim Stranko. Now, when Jim Stranko went to CGC for his private signing, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted a Stan Lee signature, and I always told my wife, I'm like, one of these days I'm going to go and get a Stan Lee sign, get him to sign a book. Well, we know what happened, okay? Like, if you put things off far enough or long enough, eventually you're not going to be able to do it. I didn't want to miss the opportunity, and honestly, I just met Jim Stranko. That dude is fit as a fiddle, and he's got a lot of years ahead of him, but I never met him before. So what I did was I sent down
nice
copy of Hulk Annual #1. And I got, it's so hard with the glare. I got this dope Hart Stranko signature right down there. And I got to talk to Jim Stranko about the Marie Severin face change, okay? Because a lot of people don't realize this.
Right.
Stan Lee thought that Stranko's Hulk's face was way too intense. So Marie Severin, who was an incredible artist, she actually ended up redoing the face on this amazing cover. But so this was, this is the first book I'm showing, but honestly, I just love the fact that not only did I have it signed by Stranko, I actually later got to meet him. So in a way, I'm starting to come around to the CGC private signings where, okay, yes, I don't get to have that experience, but you know what? Later on, I very well may get to meet that artist. So
what if you were able to crack it again and get Marie Severin's signature? Is she still around? She is, right?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been nice.
That would be amazing. But there's just something about this cover.
Yeah, that cover is amazing.
It really is. This book, honestly, there's nothing of importance to the story. It's actually pretty much, I'm not going to say throwaway story. It was enjoyable to read, but it wasn't, there's no first appearance. There's nothing memorable about it. It's just Hulk versus the Inhumans. It's an annual. It's just like such an amazing piece of art. Up, Sleepy Reader.
Yeah,
Thanks for the bad news, Sleepy Reader.
Was Steranko dressed like a pimp? He kind of, he really does it up. Like when I saw him at Heroes Con, I was like, wow, he's out for ladies' night tonight.
That's the word.
On in the suit, I was like, holy cow.
He was suave.
Yeah,
what he was. Okay,
there you go.
He was all dressed up, nice suit, glasses on, hair all slicked back. He was straight up pimping. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I noticed that the ladies flocked to him. Okay, so I don't know if he spends a lot of time talking to them or they are just drawn to the man. So he's got something going on. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Jerry, what do you expect from an Italian?
Right? But
from what I've heard from him at cons, he's real chatty too. He is. He actually talks to people as opposed to just doing the signing and passing you along. So
I like that.
Yeah.
No, he spoke to the guy in front of me, honestly, Pete, for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because I didn't have any cash on me, and he was selling prints, but he didn't take card. And I'm like, sorry. And I'm like, I left early, but he would have kept talking to me. I know he would have, but I'm like, you've got other people you need to talk to. And so I, made my way, but just such an amazing human being.
Really nice, so.
It really was. Like I wasn't gaining him anything. Although I did tell him a story about, how thankful I am. And he was one of the reasons that I liked reading comic books. But that's for a story another day. Now, if you remember in the early 2000s, there was a comic book that, that hit Brian Bendis, Mark Bagley. It hit the shelves and just sold like fire, okay? And that was Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Now, this book ended up getting, and I got it in a super nice grade, a 9.8. So happy about this. Although, when I bought it, this thing came in the mail and it was slabbed, but I'm telling you, it was barely held together, okay? The slab was like cracked. There was just like, I don't, it's plastic. It's not skin. but there was like a little sliver of the skin of the plastic that was holding it together. I sent it back and had it, holstered. They didn't regrade it or anything. At least I don't think they did. But anyhow, this book, there's a little bit of story that goes along with this. I once had this book back in the early 2000s, and I wanted to have 2 books graded by CGC. I wanted my white cover Ultimate Spider-Man #1 and also Spawn Black and White #1. I wanted them graded by CGC. So I take them to this local LCS. The guy has since, gone bankrupt and went out of business, but I don't know if I need to say bankrupt. I don't know if he went bankrupt, but he shut his doors. Okay. Well, whenever I took the books there, this is at a time before you could send books to CGC. You had to go through a distributor, and he was one of them. So he took the books from me, and he like flopped them on his counter. Okay. Like, it was LCS counter, and he like walked away from them. And I'm like, hey, are you gonna like protect those when you send them? He's like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. And I was on a different YouTube channel one time telling a story, and I'm telling you, I was sick to the stomach whenever I walked out of that LCS. Well, what he did was he just put them in a manila envelope and sent them off to CGC. I got a phone call back from him about a month later saying, hey, CGC won't grade these books because they're all damaged. Now the Spawn, which I showed one of the previous ones that I sent, or did on 10/11, it is now a 9.8. But that book was immaculate whenever I gave it to him. And I'm not joking. I had another LCS actually graded 9.9. The LCS I bought it from had 9.9 on there. And that guy, he's from Pittsburgh. Milt would know him. He owns Phantom Comics, but he sends books to CGC, and he was a grader. He put 9.9. So it wasn't just any, Joe Rowe saying 9.9. It was actually a legit grader. Well, anyhow, that book was for the most part spared, but this book, it was literally like, it looked like a cat had just scratched the heck out of it. Like most of the front cover and most of the, first 5-6 pages were just literally reds. And so I was pretty disappointed. Now, he did put insurance on it, but because there was insurance on it, they kept the book. I only ever saw pictures of it. I didn't actually see the physical book. But this book always like got in my craw that I didn't have a high grade white cover Ultimate Spider-Man #1, because guys, this book was hot back in the day. It's really cooled down, but this was in the early 2000s. This was all the rage. Okay. So I did break down, and I picked this book up a few years ago.
Yeah. So did you continue to use them, or did you just say no more?
That's probably part of the reason he went out of business. He doesn't know how to treat.
Right.
I mean, if you're a comic shop owner, you have to treat people's books with respect.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Yep. Hey, wait, Jackson wants me to start that story all over again. Okay.
Oh, you had Mark, Joe, and Jackson all having a little bit of fun at your expense.
Yeah.
Jackson Roykirk is a human being. I have rage unsubbed him pretty much daily. Okay, but for some reason I keep it keeps showing.
Here's your buddy Joe. I thought only comic book 11 was.
Let's have a story.
You want me to just go through and be like, hey, here's a book. Come on, we gotta have fun about this.
We do, and we do want a little bit on every book. That's the point.
And you spent more than 2 cents on the book. So I mean, you got to spend some time talking about them.
Right.
It's funny. All the books in my collection, but there's a backstory to every book, and that's everybody's collection. Like, where did this book come from? And honestly, I'm going to tell you the gosh honest truth. I know where 97%, and I'm obviously making up that number, but I can remember buying 97% of the books that are in my collection. I know exactly where they came from, what I was doing, and some of them just come in the mail. But I remember, all right, okay, I remember ordering that book. And Tina, thank you very much. Okay, hey, Mark, you take that. Tina likes it.
Look, Jackson's already on us again. He
He's already
rages subs
rage
us every day. He subs us back just so he can rage unsub us again.
That is right.
Oh.
It's a vicious cycle, Matt.
So my next book here, this is kind of one of those books that people might be like, what? My wife is a nurse, and my wife, she got out of high school. She went to LPN school, got a job as an LPN, worked her way through college, and ended up getting her bachelor's, and she's an RN. And, like, I'm just very, very proud of my wife, impressed with her. I can't say enough good things because I was there when she was working full time and going to school and doing clinicals and all that kind of stuff. And, she was just really, hitting it hard. She's worked in an ER. She doesn't work in an ER anymore, but honestly, for the better part of 15 years, I don't know how long, but a long time. And this is not my book.
Oh,
this is Mrs. Wood's book. Okay,
Nice.
Is Night Nurse #1, which on the Daredevil show and the Netflix version, Rosario Dawson played her. So awesome story. And I'll be honest,
Matt.
I'll be honest with you. I forget Night Nurse's first name, and it's gonna Linda Carter. How did I forget that? I knew it was like it's a very easy name to remember. But Linda Carter, Linda Carter. But the Linda Carter we're all thinking of spells her name
Right.
But anyhow, but no, so I got this book for my wife. So this is actually one of hers. She has a handful of books here in the room that are, well, more than a handful that are 100% hers. But this is just one of them. Just thought it's such a cool book, and it's a niche book. So
Read to us.
On that.
Yeah, read the blue part. Tell me when that came out and all the stats, because I'm curious.
Night Nurse #1, Marvel Comics 1172. Gene Thomas story. Win Mortimer cover and art, and first appearance of Linda Carter.
Nice.
It's just such a cool book, and Marvel did a good thing. And honestly, this is a legit good story. If you guys can ever find this online, I don't know if there's a trade, but if you ever can.
They did a reprint of it about when the Daredevil series was out.
Okay.
They did a reprint of the 4 issues of it that came out in the stores, and that's one of those books, man. That's enough of an interesting niche book that's not one you're ashamed of having in your collection.
Yeah, no,
because it's just hard enough to find.
Hey, I got 2 copies of Lady Cop, so I'm okay with the female books.
Yeah,
there you go.
We know you like it. You and me both. We're the same,
right?
Gary, the community knows you like the ladies. Okay, you love the Marvel ladies. Now, is Lady Cop Marvel?
No, she's DC.
She's DC.
There's some DC lady. I like Wonder Woman. I like Zatanna. I like Lady Cop. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're out there. I like it.
The original Starfire.
The original.
The Barbarian.
Yeah. Her first appearance was in wasn't it Amazing Spider-Man and Friends? Like.
No, you're thinking of Firestar.
Yes, I am. I'm thinking of Firestar.
Yeah.
Her first appearance was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which I have, and then also her first in continuity appearance was in X-Men. So she had 2 first appearances. I think it was 138, and I have 2 copies of that. Oh, thank you so much, Scotty. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
Scotty G is such an awesome human being. Like we always say, oh, the comic book community is great, and for the gosh honest truth, it really is great. But some people always stand out, even above others. And Scotty G is just one of those super great human beings.
So nice. Thank you very much, Scotty. And there's Tina. Another one of the best. All right, so yeah, Night Nurse. So no one's gonna laugh at Night Nurse. Night Nurse is awesome.
Yeah.
No. And if they do, you have to talk to my wife, okay? You don't want to do that.
Well, if they do, then their opinion on comics just doesn't matter, Matt Woods.
That's right.
All right, number 4, sir.
Now, it's 100. I don't really have a story about this. Like all these books in our collection, they're, wow, why did you get that? Why did I get this? It's freaking Big John Buscema. Okay, this
Right?
is an amazing.
And a kick-ass cover.
Yeah, it's an amazing cover. Now, I was in where was that? I was in Mississippi 3 years ago, and honestly, about this time, okay, I think I moved down there on the 17th of I started class 17th of August 2020. So anyhow, I just checking out all the LCSs in the area of Mississippi. I go down to New Orleans. I go to Covert or what the heck was it? I'm gonna forget the name of it. Jackson Roykirk. It's a pretty big LCS in New Orleans, and it's gonna bother me because I'm gonna mess it up. Is it not Crescent City?
Is it Oak Street?
No, it'll come to me. Just right now, drawing a blank. But I went to Foley, Alabama, a small town, and they had an LCS there, and it was Covert Comics. Well, he literally was unpacking his CGC shipment that came back from CGC, and I saw him pull this out. The owner, the guy's name was Jason, and I was like, dude, how much you selling that for? Him and I looked it up. He looked it up. We came to a nice agreement. But honestly, this book, it's just a fire cover. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's no personal connection to it other than John Buscema drew Conan, and I love Conan. Yes, I said Conan in this.
That looks pretty good for a 3.5.
Yeah.
It's actually like it presents very, very well. I've looked at it. I don't know if it would benefit with a press because I'll send books back to CGC.
Now,
But there has to be something that I can see that can be improved.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, because being the fan of John Buscema and Ernie Chan that you are, do you have either of their autographs?
No, I do not know.
Huh.
Yeah. But, no, just I don't know. John Buscema, he passed away early 2000s. So that was before CGC. So there would be some out there, but they wouldn't be CGC.
Thank you so much, Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie.
Very nice of you. Ronnie's another great supporter in the community, Matt.
And again, amazing individuals in here. And my next book, I'm going to talk about an amazing individual. Okay, Los from Los Comics. Okay, he sold it. He was selling this book, and I just was like, I got to get this off of my buddy Los. But it's a 9.2 ASM 62. Awesome Medusa cover. But why? How do I even know Los? And Los was on my channel a few months ago. But Reggie Collects did a comic book room makeover. Okay, in the comic book room behind me, it looks actually pretty dark. You can only see part of Chewy back there. But this room used to be an extra room in my house. Okay. And I've seen rooms and houses in this part of Pennsylvania where people call them junk rooms. Mm-hmm. They're regular rooms, but for the most part, they use them for storage as opposed to an attic space. And this room was just, the walls were never finished. It was just old 1950s quarter-inch brown drywall, which I don't even think you can buy a quarter-inch drywall anymore, but that's how thick it was. Anyhow, that Reggie Collects room makeover, I talked about what I wanted to do and how I had it organized, and people voted me as the winner, the grand prize winner of this room makeover. Well, off to my left, you can see some frames there. A couple of my books, there's 2 openings because I'm showing 2 of those books. But anyhow, those frames showed up, and there were some other prizes that showed up, and I'm like, I can't put these frames on this wall. I mean, one, they're going to fall off. Quarter-inch drywall is not very sturdy. If I leaned, I literally one time I put my hand through the wall because I kind of tripped and put my hand on the wall. Boom! I was like, yeah, I got to do something with this one. So anyhow, I was like, I can't do that. So what I did was my son and I, we spent probably about 2-3 weeks, and we just completely redid this room from the floor up to the ceiling. Added electrical outlets into it, redid the electricity completely because there used to be one light hanging from the ceiling with a pull string. That was the only electricity in the whole room. So ran a whole new breaker and everything up in here and built these cabinets that are back behind me that I store my comic books in. And, Yeah, so I have these nice little cool drawers. So that was a project my son and I had, but Los was in that competition with me, and we became friends from that. You know, like you think you're in a competition with somebody and you're not going to like them. Well, that's just not true. Okay. He was just such a good dude. Rob Boswell was another finalist in that contest. I'm a good friend with Rob Boswell. So, you know, like that is why I ended up picking this book up, just because, you know, a friend of mine was selling it on Instagram. And so I
It's
just
a fun cover too.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite for sure. It's in the top 10 for me.
Joe.
You know, Ramita just did a good job with it. Whenever everyone loves Ditko's Spider-Man, but Ramita is
Ramita's the best.
No, I don't. I think Ramita's the best.
Oh, 100%. 100% Ramita is the best. And he just took
Thank you, Steve.
all the art to a new level, you know. And yes, I like Ditko, but not like Ramita. Okay. Like
I agree with you. To me,
just two different styles.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, when I think of Spider-Man, I think of John Romita Sr.'s Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only one I've ever
That's the best Spider-Man ever to me.
Yeah.
Romita's women are just amazing. I mean, they look like real women. They're not waifs.
Yeah.
But, you know, they look like people you might actually see.
Right.
Yeah, well, you know, we might actually run into a redhead whose hair can actually grab people and hold them down. Yes.
Well, you never know.
That could happen.
Chuck, I'm just messing with you, but no, you're right.
That's the only question.
Realistic.
Oh Lord.
Oh, look at Jackson. So if you were showing Conans, he'd be picking on you for that. Here's Matt Wood's Conans again. And now that you're not, no making that guy happy, Matt. There's no making that guy happy.
There is no making that guy happy. Okay, he is YouTube's #1 troll. Okay,
right. Good thing he's such a great guy. All right, number 6, Matt.
Gary, we were just talking about Jackson before the show.
Yeah,
you weren't saying he was a nice guy then.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. I'm gonna remember this trouble Saturday morning. I'll start making some stuff up about you.
Oh Lord.
I got to see you in 2 more days.
I know, right? But now, speaking of cool people in the community, this is another cover or book. Okay, I love Batman. Okay, people always think I'm just a Conan guy. Okay, I love so many other characters. I don't collect Batman, but it's not because I don't love Batman. Okay, I grew up in the 80s, you know, with Batman 1989. So everybody who grew up then loved Batman, okay? Because that was the first true superhero movie. Now, I know they had the Hulk movies and stuff like that, Hulk versus Thor, but they were different. Superman, yeah, that's a different category altogether. You're right. Superman was really good, but Batman was big. I love Batman, but I intentionally decided to never collect Batman or the X-Men, because I love the X-Men too, because it's a rabbit hole. I'm a completist. I have to have them all. And I'm like, I cannot go down this rabbit hole of trying to find every Batman comic.
That would put you, Yeah.
And X-Men, if I stayed to the main title, that was one thing. But man, I want to get all the spin-offs and all the, series.
X-Force, X-Factor, Marauders, whatever's out there.
What year did that one come out?
This one, Jim, is 1970. This was December 1970. Denny O'Neil and Mike Frederick Stories.
Right.
Irv Novick, Dick, I'm going to mispronounce this Italian name, Giordano.
Sure.
And Mike Esposito art, Neil Adams cover, okay? Detective Comics 31 cover homage, classic cover, hanging panels, Robin backup story.
Man.
I mean, they fit a lot in that blue on that one, huh?
They really did. I was surprised. But now, how this book came into my collection is great people in the community, okay? Aaron from AA Comics, super wonderful guy. I met him one time in person at Doug Bratton's house, actually. And there's no in the chat. I'm going to have to holler at him because he'll know why I'm going to holler at him. But anyhow, I had multiple copies. Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay. My video went kaput. But I had multiple copies, graded copies of ASM 300, okay? I don't need 3 graded copies, high grade copies of that book. Well, Aaron, he posted some books that he had available. He had this book and another book, and then we ended up making a trade. I ended up getting 2 books. He got 1 book. And this was one of the books that I traded Aaron for. And this was like the Silver Surfer. I don't have a true like backup story of how it personally connects to me, except how I got it. I guess that is personal connection. But this was just an awesome, awesome cover. Denny O'Neil he was amazing in his writing, and Neil Adams' art is it's something different. So I ended up picking this up from Aaron.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that cover's got such atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
Well, the original was Detective Comics number 31, and the first Batman was Detective Comics number 27. So it was the 5th appearance of Batman. Honestly, it was a cool cover, but this Neil Adams cover is so much better than what the original was.
Right.
I don't have a story for it, but here it is. Okay, this is true. But, I always have something to drink when I'm on YouTube. And I'm reminding myself why I always have something to drink when I'm on YouTube. My throat's getting pretty parched here. Now, Chuck, you can relate to this. We're school teachers. And for the summer, I don't speak, with my projecting voice during the summer. Well, that first couple of weeks, my throat will be kind of raw. And so I'm feeling a little bit of rawness here. So
We're getting warmed up for next week. That's what we're doing. So
right.
Yes. It's what it usually does. It takes me a couple of weeks, and then honestly, I never even noticed it after that. But now, Wizard. Everyone loved Wizard magazine, okay?
I
love reading Wizard, seeing what the new news was out there and seeing what books were coming out. The cover of Wizard was
nice.
This incredible Michael Turner art of Supergirl. And this is Superman Batman number 13. This came out in October of 2004. And Michael Turner is one of my absolute favorite artists, okay? And I kind of found out about Michael Turner by Witchblade. I loved reading Witchblade. It was one of those Image books from the 90s that started. And, I liked Witchblade, and it was Spawn kind of tied into her, and so did Darkness. Just cool storytelling. But this is just one of those cover buys. And I threw this out for Joe from Anachrona Comics because he says I don't like DC. Well, you know what? We're finding out that's not true because I've been showing some DC books here. Okay?
Yeah, that's fire.
And that's a great cover. I've never actually seen that cover before, Matt.
What?
This was kind of a semi-famous cover. Wait, Jim, did you just show the same book?
did.
This is the exact book I picked up when I went out with Naman a week or so ago. I found it in one of the dollar bins. I'm like, Michael Turner, it's coming home with me.
What?
Yeah, it's the number 8 in that series that everyone normally
Joe's calling you a liar, Matt.
So
yeah, number 8. That's another Michael Turner cover.
Yeah.
Awesome, but I like 13 and I like 8. Don't get me wrong, but 13, she just speaks to me.
Yeah. Well,
It's a cool angle, everything.
Had his own perspective on drawing as well. It was amazing. I thought some of those Witchblade covers are fire as well.
I lucked out.
And some of his Lara Croft is good too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that I had a signature of Michael Turner.
Nice.
I think it's Witchblade number 3. I was just looking at the collection and I'm like, wait, there's a signature on this. This isn't a part of the cover because it kind of looks like it's part of the cover art. I'm like, I had to look it up. It was a Michael Turner signature. And I'm like, son of a gun, that is sweet.
That's awesome.
cool.
Now, this book, okay, I told you I'm a Witchblade fan. I have full runs of Witchblade in there. And Gary, you showed a book on IG a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I almost pulled this out just to show you, but I have the same book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great cover, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
side
kind
blade
of looks like
shot.
parchment.
What's that?
Yeah, it kind of has that parchment look to it.
It does actually. It's there's a dot art to it. But Gary showed us this is the first appearance of Witchblade, and just a cool little niche, cover that a lot of people don't even know exists.
I didn't.
And it's not expensive.
No.
No,
You can get it for $5, $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got this 9/8. I'll say this. I've had this book in the collection for maybe 20 years. This is one of the very, very first CG slabs that I'd ever purchased. Okay, I got this off eBay.
And that's an alternate cover too.
Yes, it is. Yep. There was a few different covers, but this is an alternate. But
It reminds me of an 80s record album when I look at it.
it kind of does, yeah.
Has all that popping color to it. I'm like,
Well, I just thought it was the best because you can't really see it there, but if you get it close, I don't know if you can. But like it has like they did it like they're drawn on parchment almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. The texture they put on the art.
It's hard to see it in the video. Like when I'm looking at it right here, I can see it easy. But when I'm putting it up to the camera, you don't see that same look.
Witchblade will come back again, and that book will get hot again.
Yeah.
They wrote Witchblade so well, and the art was fire. Let's just get that out of the way. But it was a legit, really good story. Like I kept wanting to pick up the next book to see where the story was going. And I got into like issue 150 in like a week. I couldn't put it down. It's a page turner.
And it had its own anime too, besides a regular TV show. We got Jackson Roykirk singing Duran Duran over here.
It does kind of look like Rio, doesn't it? Huh?
Somebody said I'm diversifying. What's going on here? I'm all over the map. Come on, Mark.
Because you're not showing Conan's.
I do. Listen, I love Conan, okay? And I might be the biggest Conan fan in the world. You hear that, Gary? That's a shot across the bow, okay? But I do like other stories. Like, you can listen, once you read a story once, you got to read something else, okay? So, listen.
Can you read that one again?
I can't read that one. Yes, it's in the slab. But, yeah, I can read it digitally. And, guys, I'm talking about covers, and I'm talking about, this and this art and all that. I love covers, but I'm a comic book fan because I actually like reading the stories. And, whenever we're growing up, I don't know if other people can relate, but a lot of people like comic books or kids' stories, and, they pan them or they just look past them. No, there's legit great literature being put out by comic book, writers and artists with the collaboration, telling the story. So I love reading this. So yeah, I do read more than just Conan. Witchblade's one of them. I've full run of Witchblade, and I'm one of those guys. I'm a completist. If I'm going to collect it, I get the whole run. But Tomb Raider, that's another one I have a full run. Spawn, I have full run. Captain America, I might have 1,000 Captain America books there.
And that 50-issue Tomb Raider run plus the crossover with Witchblade.
Yep.
That's a great run. Like the stories are phenomenal. They're fun. Everything. It always feels like Lara Croft, and they just did such a great job with that. And the Philip Tan art was amazing. Andy Pack art, just so much good stuff.
Adam Hughes did
was great.
Fire covers. Adam Hughes did some fire covers.
He did.
For Tomb Raider. But no, they're just very good stories. Now, this one, I'm going to shout out my buddy Reggie from Reggie Collects. This was the pandemic year. And I honestly forget, the con season was shut down. Somebody was doing an online Comic-Con, okay? And they asked Reggie to interview Clayton Crane. And Reggie asked him, hey, what's your favorite comic book cover that you ever did? And Clayton Crane, he was talking about this Sensational Spider-Man number, is this 32? Yeah, it is 32. And I collect Spider-Man. I have a full run of Sensational Spider-Man in my collection back there. So I went back and I pulled it out. I'm like, son of a gun. Clayton Crane thinks this is his favorite cover that he's ever did. I see why. It is absolutely amazing with MJ there hanging on Spider-Man's back, and I see it. So Clayton Crane was in Pennsylvania. He was in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He went to LCS called the Comic Vault. It's actually an old bank, and it's really cool because there's still the bank vault in there, and he has some books behind the vault iron door. Like looks like a jail, okay?
Right.
But anyhow, so Clayton Crane, he signed this right in front of me, and he gave me a infinity signature and asked him to make it red, white, and blue. And I put it at this little angle here on purpose, just because I wanted it to flow with the art. Like, I do feel like that signature enhances the book. Because, listen, a lot of art. I don't like seeing signatures go over the art on a book. I think it just distracts from the book. I think this signature absolutely adds to it. It's a cool placement, if you will.
Right. It flows with it.
Yep. So this might be my all-time favorite comic book cover. And if Phil is still in the chat, and I hope he is, he was sending out some really, really cool AOKs last year, early this year, last year.
Oh.
Here you are, Phil. Okay. Phil ended up doing this art and sent me an awesome AOK. And Phil is just one of those, again, great people in the community, ones that we know, they're cream of the crop. And Fantastic Phil is one of them. And guys, watch his show on Saturday morning. He does a great job on his YouTube channel on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, he put a lot of work into those. Those are nice. I got mine over here, and mine was that cover there.
See, Mark, I do have, Mark, here's the truth. I do have an artistic side, but it's different than what a lot of people's artistic niche is. I cannot paint. I cannot draw. Honestly, I'm bad at drawing stick figures, okay? It's just, that is not my form of art. But if you look at this room, okay, and right now it's a bad angle, it's hard to see. I can do super, super awesome jobs with carpentry, with finished carpentry. I can build tables. I can build picture frames and put crown molding on houses and, inside the rooms. My artistic ability is my carpentry skills. And I'm slow because I don't do it every day, but that's my form of art. So, Mark, there is a part of me that does have that little flair to it.
Right. Well, your room shows it, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I got to talk about my family, okay? I showed a book that's important to my wife. Well, and like I said, it's kind of hard to tell because of the bad angle, but okay, I guess that's a Conan statue that's really showing up. I have the light. Hopefully it's on a Chewy, but it's not. It's more on Conan. But I have a figure up there, and the figure is Anti-Venom, okay? It's a Spider-Man, ASM character.
Right.
And my son loved playing with that toy when he was young, okay? And he's always telling me about all the powers that Anti-Venom had and all that. Like, he was just, there was a stage in his life. And right now, he's like, I don't even remember that. But when he was 6 or 7, he was just all about the character Anti-Venom, and he was always playing with that toy, which I have up there on the comic book shelves. But I ended up getting this B cover for ASM 569. I got this a few years ago. And there's another cover. There's a couple other covers to this book. But this is the one that's actually hard to find. And this is just a John Romita Jr. Drawing that was inside the book itself of Anti-Venom. They just made it into a cover. Super dope. But I got this just because, I just remember my young son, just absolutely enjoying this character. He thought he was so creepy cool because that was a word that my kid used at the time. He's just creepy cool, Dad.
That
So-
sounds like something a 6-year-old would say, you know?
Now you get to embarrass him with it, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, I embarrass him every day. He's a teenager. Actually, he's at the stage now where he's beyond the embarrassment. He's like, whatever. He rolls his eyes. Now, here's my storybook. Okay,
Yes.
getting pretty far into this, and I'm going to tell you, I'm mad that Doug Bratton is probably working, doing good work. Okay, Doug has a pretty important job, but I wanted to show a book, my storybook. Okay, and this might be my shortest story of all. This is Isolation 1. Okay, guys, if you see me on my channel, I'm always showing it, but like, here's the thing. You know how you know good people that have dreams, that try hard, that you root for, you want them to succeed because they're just good people? Well, Doug had his dream, okay? He wanted, and Doug has other comics that he would love to see published, but he wanted to be a comic book writer. He's writing a really good story. I mean, most of it's finished, but Mark Andrews said this will not be a short story, but I'm just absolutely proud of my friend Doug, his brother Dave, who is has done alternate covers for this, variant covers, but just absolutely impressed with the art that is in this, the team that Doug has selected, Reggie for backing this. You know, just a cool book. Sounds like somebody's in the background.
Yeah, my son. He came in the room a second.
So yeah, but that's my story. So I just like to support good people. You know, this is put out by Soldier Publishing. Chuck, I'm
And
sure
number 4 just came out. So
Actually, my this just got in the mail here for me today, my number 4.
I just got mine today. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to go back and read issues 1, 2, and 3 before I go and read issue 4, just so I'm up to date with the story.
And I'm sorry, man. I didn't know I interrupted you. I tried to hit mute when I talked to my kids, so I didn't talk over you.
Oh, I didn't hear a word. I knew who was in the room.
Okay. Yeah, Matt's met my son.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to start talking about him. Just an awesome human being. You know, I was lucky to meet him what was that, last month? Yeah, that was
last month now.
But wow, is it that long ago? Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, July.
Yeah, just a super great kid. You know, Gary's doing a great job raising a awesome young man.
Oh, thank you, bud.
I like him a lot better than you, Gary.
Oh, good. I'm not very likable anyway, so.
No, I rage unsubbed you twice today.
Good. Next time you do it, make sure you go screw, okay? All right. Number out your spec pick, Matt.
My spec pick, okay? And I don't know. It is a spec pick because this character will make live action any day. I don't know when, but it will happen. But if you've ever read the Marvel Star Wars books, okay? Marvel had Star Wars back in the 70s.
Right.
And then Dark Horse did a fabulous job with Star Wars for years and years, late 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. But I think around 2015, somewhere in there, give or take a year, Marvel got the rights to the Star Wars property back. And they started putting out new books. And if you ever read Darth Vader #3, there was a new character in there. There was a space archaeologist, okay? I really don't even know what that means, okay? But anyhow.
Dr. Aphra.
Yeah. Dr. Aphra, the first appearance in Darth Vader #3. And this is just honestly one of those characters that I can't quit reading. They're doing such a fabulous job. And there's been different artists, different writers that have taken the mantle of this character. But it is such a fun, cool character to read, to see, and honestly to spec on. I don't know how high this book is going to go. It's come down to everything in the comic book community or in the comic book.
But as first time she's announced in a live action anything, that thing's going to pop.
Well, and that's what I know nothing other tan what you said. Like, is she like a hidden rebel, or is she pro Vader, or you know what I mean? Like, which side does she fall on? And is this, you know,
Well, I think she's her own side.
Yeah, she's right down the middle. Okay, she'll play both sides.
Yeah.
And she's all about trying to make money. Okay, basically. But she's always running afoul of Darth Vader. Darth Vader absolutely hates her because she double-crossed him. And so that's half the storyline of her just trying to get away from there. Her droids are very nasty, okay? The killer droids are, what are they called, Mark? Or tell me what I forget. Insane droids or something, But no, they're just really cool. But she's like right down the middle, Jim. So
okay, so in specking, if you were, who would you currently pick to play her? If you were thinking about, like, because again, I haven't read it, but I know I read stuff sometime and as I'm reading it, I'm going, wow, that voice doing these words would be really perfect for this.
Digger, I would say the young lady who did Quake in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
okay.
Chloe Bennett?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think she would be great in that role.
Anna de Armas.
I could see that. Well, I say I'm not a good person to ask which actress because I don't watch a whole lot.
You don't watch a lot of it. That's fine. I didn't know.
Well, I'm a big Chloe Bennett fan, Jim. That works for me.
Yeah. I liked her too. I liked her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
We'll see Quake again, I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
No, I was going to say I've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I know which actress you're talking about. But honestly, I think she would do a pretty good job. I think that's a good pick, Chuck.
Awesome.
So honestly, guys, that's my books that I am showing off today. Okay, or not showing off, but discussing, with spec, with stories, with a little bit of, personal background and how they came into the collection. So
I'm going to send Chuck down a rabbit hole real quick. Chuck, did you know she was a K-pop singer before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, I did not know that at all.
You can find her videos on YouTube.
Uh-oh.
Send you down a rabbit hole.
I couldn't take summer break left.
But no, great books, Matt.
Yeah.
And I did show a lot of Conan, showed a lot of Spawn. I think Tina was the one saying we'll see a lot of Conan and Spawn. Okay. I have other tastes, Tina. I just want to let you know that.
Don't put Matt Woods in a corner.
Yeah.
Can't put Matt Woods in a corner.
But yeah, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was one of those series. It got better every season. Like the first season was just and then it got better, and then it got better, and then it got. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I liked every season more.
Yes.
But Chloe Bennett was one of my favorite characters. Gabriel Luna as Ghost Rider on that show was great.
Oof. Yeah, their Ghost Rider was amazing.
What's
her name that played Mockingbird?
Yep.
Gosh, I can't think of her name now. But you know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, Adrian Palicki.
Adrian Palicki, yeah, that's it. Yeah, she did really well.
She was supposed to get her own spinoff, and then they didn't do it, and I was upset. I was like, no.
She played Wonder Woman.
I know, and they didn't greenlight that either.
They didn't launch it. They didn't launch it.
She ended up on the Orville.
Wow. Yeah, she's on the Orville.
Are they going to do a live action Wonder Woman show?
I don't think there are any plans for that right now.
No, I don't think so. They're not doing anything until they get their act together.
Well, they did say there was going to be a show called The Amazons about the women on the mascara.
Yeah, but I think that was going to be on Netflix?
No, HBO Max.
Or HBO Max, yeah. But,
yeah, I have to be on a Warner Brothers.
No. Mark said you gave an acceptable hour of viewing, Matt.
The next time I see one online, I'm going to remember this. And it was a reasonably good show, Joe. Thank you.
It was no comic book crowd, but it'll do, right?
Thoughts are being fired, okay?
So mean.
Guys, while we're speaking of it, come out, and if the 10-1-1's in the finals, don't forget to throw us a vote if you don't mind. And Absolutely. The 1,000, the best collaborative show, 1,000 to 2,000 category.
You can do that or the comic book crowd. Either one, Gary wins.
No, that one's in the other category because it hit 1,000 after the voting the nominations began. Yeah, so that'll be in the 0 to 999.
Ooh, nice.
The next year he's in the 1,000 crowd.
Okay.
Yes, but great show though. I love the books. I like seeing the different things that interest you, Matt, because like you and I talk Conan a lot, but you and I both have very many other interests other than barbarians.
We all have
Oh, there he is.
yeah. We all have a lot of varied interests. Like all of us. I'm like an onion. I tell people, and this is an old saying, but like many layers. Okay, there's a lot to all of our personalities.
You are a diehard fan of Buffalo.
All right.
Oh, somebody's jamming out. Is that you, Jim?
No, it won't me. I'm just sitting here listening about the layers and the onion.
I think it was Chuck Soupsy.
Some tab went weird. I don't know what it was. So, okay.
Hands free, Chuck. Hands free.
Right?
Touch it.
Yes, Milt. Variety is the spice of life.
Absolutely, Milt.
I want to get down to PA one day and actually visit you and Milt and go to the comic shop you guys are always talking about.
You are invited, but it can't be during the middle of the week.
All right, that's all right. We could do it next summer vacation.
Okay.
I'll have to make the trek up and hit a Steel City Con one time. I've been a ton of times. I've just never.
See, that was close enough to me where I could actually make it reasonably. I could just head out there, meet you, Jim, meet Matt, and Milt out there.
Jim, where are you from? You're not far, I don't think.
I'm in Frederick, Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah,
I used to live in
You set him up for that one, Matt.
He said that one before, okay? But yeah, Jim, I used to drive through Frederick. I'd take 270, or actually I took 32 north, then I'd take 70 into Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way we go to up to Steel City. I went with a buddy of mine because he's one of those guys that likes to. He had a Goonies poster and he was trying to get all of them sign it. And I think the one year I went with him, there was a Goonie there, and there's like three of us that went, and it's nice. To me, it's less comic-y, more toy, signature people, and that's just not my thing. So I go every once in a while. I don't go every year.
That was my comment about it. There was only like a half a dozen comic book booths.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of it was toys, and I'm not saying anything bad about that, but I'm a comic book guy.
Right.
I wanted it to be more comics, and so I was kind of disappointed in the selection.
We have a couple of good quarterly cons here in both Raleigh and Charlotte that are still real comic book gatherings, which are really nice to go to. So,
well, you have Heroes Con in Charlotte, my friend.
Yeah, and then we had the big one. Then we had the big one of Heroes Con.
Yeah, that's for me. I'm done. That's where I'm going all the time from here. I mean, like I'm like maybe 45 minutes from Baltimore or whatever, and Baltimore's great too. But Heroes Con is just a little bit better.
How does Baltimore Comic Con compare to Steel City Con?
Oh man, there's tons of more comic books for one. Right. The problem I have with Baltimore is it's a lot like Steel City in respect they don't utilize all their space well, and you have a
thank you, Phil.
It's narrow rows. So you might have more comic vendors, but you're definitely elbowing people like you do at Steel City. So you have to be prepared for that. But I enjoy it. I usually just go for one day if I'm going.
Yeah. I've heard great things about Baltimore. But to answer Mark Andrews' question, because next week is Fan Expo up in Toronto, I really want to go, Mark, but I have a trip I need to take out west with my son. And I need to keep some of the funds, keep my powder dry, ready for that. So.
All right, so let's go around the horn here, guys, and see what's going on with everyone. So we'll start with you, Jim. What's happening with you?
I have a mail call video that will be coming up soon. I'm waiting. I had to send some emails out. I did not get a package that I was looking for, and somehow they couldn't give me the tracking number, but they knew they shipped it, but they would ship it again. So whoever, I don't know what that means.
Right?
Yeah, how you're going to just ship it again, but you shipped it already once? I don't think so. But I'm waiting on that, and then I'll be shooting a video for that. I don't know when I'm going to dig again. Honestly, it just I'm not a big fan of digging in when it's so hot and the ground is so dry. It just it's not fun. I will try to get out eventually sometime, but I like to see a little rain come beforehand.
Nice.
I am doing a video on how I what I do with my money that I do find, not the good like wheat pennies and mercury dimes and stuff, but just the regular stuff that I might find in the park, the pennies, nickels, and dimes. Somebody asked me how do you clean it? So I'm doing I'm probably going to try to do a little short video on that. Yeah,
but that'll be cool though.
Yeah.
All right, and coming up for you, Chuck, anything?
Nothing much. I'll probably show up on Anachronic Comics at some point, giving my 2 cents on some things. And, Gary, I might be hanging out with you some too. So we'll see.
This Friday, right? And then on here, you'll be back.
Yeah, so I'll be back around. So, yeah.
All right, coming up for me, and then we'll get to Matt Woods. Coming up for me, I have Rob Fat Stacks of Comics is on the 1011 next Tuesday. And this Saturday morning, Matt Woods is a guest on the show I do with Stephanie, Coffee and Cosplay. So catch us 7:30 Eastern Real Time.
Matt, are you cosplaying Vampirella or something like that?
I don't cosplay anything. That's why I take the shirt off. Jackson and Mark Andrews are already asking me to take my shirt off, but this isn't that show.
Yeah.
Different show.
Calm down, gents. But no, Matt's going to be joining us that morning. So Matt is going to be the first guest on Coffee and Cosplay.
Wow.
What an honor. I'm excited about this.
Right. And I think Stephanie's cooking up some mischief for you too, Matt.
Nice.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I can't say it was all Gary approved what she came up with.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about this. I have a reputation I got to keep.
Oh, this might mar it a little.
Just don't send the link.
This might not be the reputation you want.
Yeah.
See what Anachronic Comics wrote?
Yeah, Matt may take his pants off.
Oh, I don't know about this. But
right.
So what's going on in my world is next Friday, there's a new episode of the Comic Book Crowd on the Anachronic Comics YouTube channel. That's a tongue twister if you don't know that, Joe, okay? But anyhow, there is going to be a special guest on that show, and we're going to be talking about our comic book origin stories, how we started collecting, what got us into it, with our special guest.
Nice.
Is the guest a secret, or are you going to tell us early?
That is a Anachronic Comics decision whether or not to release who the special guest is going to be.
Oh, okay. Is this kid saying that or after haircut from Mad? Friday the 25th is all Joe's telling us. He's
all he's saying.
All right, great. And, all right, so we're going to wrap up. I want to thank the crowd. We had a great crowd tonight showing up to support Matt. Sub up everybody that's on the panel. Sub up Matt Woods if you haven't. Descriptions are in the links below. Thank you all so much for coming out. And I want to thank my two co-hosts, Chuck and Jim. Thank you. That is Chuck Hensey and Jim. Digger Jim. So thank you guys for coming on and co-hosting with me. It's always fun to have a couple great people with you. And Matt, always a pleasure to have you on the channel, buddy. I don't care what Jackson Roy Kirk writes me about you. But thanks so much for coming on, buddy. It's always a lot of fun. And we'll do it all again in 2 days. And as I like to end this thing, guys, keep it casual.